Arvin says, if there's no one here, does anything really exist? So the idea of no one being here comes from this idea that you can find most prominently in Buddhism, anatta, no self, no individuated ego entity. So as we investigate the mind with spiritual practice, with meditation, with inquiry, we find that this idea of a separate sense of self in the mind doesn't really exist on a fundamental level. And so then we would say there's no one here, there's no self, anatta. Another way to look at this is to see this idea of oneness. Of course, we've heard this idea, everything is one. There is no separation. Separation is an illusion. Sounds pretty incredible. Maybe that idea gets romanticized a little bit. Everything is one. We are all one. Well, if we investigate that idea and contemplate it a little further, how can we all be one and yet simultaneously myself is here and yourself is there? If it's all one, there's no self here, there's no Brent here, and there's no you out there either. It's all one. It's all one thing. Brent exists only as an idea based on this belief in separation. And as we explore through, like I mentioned, spiritual practice, we see that separation isn't real. The mind is not actually an individual sense of self there. So then these questions arise, if I'm not real, if Brent isn't a real entity, a separate entity, does anything really exist? Well, consciousness exists. It is. I am just pure being, right? That's the beginning and the end, we could say, just existence. It is, right? So, well, what do we do with that? Well, we don't stop there. Many people, particularly those that are in sort of practicing a modern day neo-Advaita or a non-dual path, will stop there and say, there's no one here. All there is pure consciousness or pure awareness. It's all one. And they stop there. And then there's a sort of sense of like a paralysis. Well, what do I do then? If there's just pure consciousness that just exists, well, what do I do? Well, we have to also be a little pragmatic and a little practical and, in a sense, use our common sense and look around and say, well, hey, a guy is speaking and I'm listening. And when you speak, the guy listens, right? You walk around in the world and it appears as if there is a sense of separation, as if you're here and the world is out there. So we operate in that way of living life, right? We didn't come here to realize, oh, there's no Brent and that's the end. No, we didn't come here to do that. We came here to realize, okay, yeah, there's no Brent. It's all one. Therefore, I don't need to be afraid. I don't need to play offense or defense. It's all me. So I can play here. I can grow here. I can evolve. I can express the oneness through this idea of separation. So yes, consciousness exists. This is all real. It all exists. It just exists a little differently than we were initially told. And within the context of Kundalini awakening, as the energy makes its way up into the head, up into the mind, the sense of self begins to be dismantled. Our awareness expands and we can actually see that we aren't just limited to this little, very small idea of me in the head. We're not limited to that. We're all that is. And so as the Kundalini makes its way up to the crown, we begin to experience oneness. The idea of Brent becomes just this like mask that we wear to function in the world, but we don't believe ourselves to be the ego. We know that we're more than that. So then we play as the ego, as a character in the world. So we don't want to get caught up too much in these black and white ideas that, nothing exists. It does exist. This is all real, right? And we also don't want to dismiss our own ego identity based on the story that we have, the trauma that we face, the relationships that we have, the challenges. That's all real. And we want to honor that and work with it and also see that in other people and say, you know, even though fundamentally we're all one, we look at somebody that's struggling, that's in suffering, we don't dismiss their suffering, right? By saying, oh, they're actually, you know, one and there's no ego there who's actually suffering. No, we try and have compassion for the other person, for the world, for ourselves as well. So this is why in Buddhism, they say form is emptiness, right? Another way of looking at nobody being here, no one here, no self is the idea of emptiness. Form is emptiness. Emptiness is form. So the idea of the world of form is the world of separation. And so it's paradoxical. It's paradoxical. So I hope that can help. As the Kundalini makes its way up to the head, these are the sorts of realizations that we'll have. And they can be earth-shattering, reality blowing, like completely paradigm shifting in the way that we perceive ourselves in the world. And no matter how many descriptions you hear about it, it's always not what you could have possibly imagined. You have to experience it for yourself. And some of us experience that very early on in the path. Typically, those who have a top-down awakening, the energy begins more in the head. But many of us will experience it as a result of the culmination as the energy makes its way up to the head. So it's a great question there, Harvin. Thank you.